So this is a project where Culture Goes Europe is involved with other international partners, and it's called Shared Spaces. So we are trying to understand and doing research on what a shared space, what an inclusive space for the community and for the young people of the community can look like. And for that, we thought of interviewing you at FACK because you already have this type of space, so it's a prime example of what shared space could be. So thank you for answering and welcoming us. So the first thing, for the people who don't know what FACK is, how does your work relate to this topic?
In the end, FACK is a big network of young people who are supporting each other to be strong individuals and create their lives and create their own world. And this whole network, this whole community does need some space, because a space is a place where you can do projects, but it's also the thing of a project, like where you can take responsibility for a room or a certain idea that takes place in this area. And in the end, it's also like a symbol for non-feelable structure of the social space. And in the end, this space here is our factory, and maybe Wiebke can also share her opinion on that.
Yeah, I think spaces oftentimes can also be methods themselves, to just use spaces to empower young people by giving them the space to do their projects and to come up with new ideas. And I think what's special about this space is that we had this idea in mind of what we wanted to do, but quickly we realized that young people have different ideas and that they maybe also want to do different things with special rooms in here, and then we just needed to adapt. And that's something that I think is very crucial to creating spaces, to be able to adapt them actually.
Can you tell us also about this type of initiatives and events where you can bring the community to the space?
Yeah, sure. Maybe just to have an eye on this week. This week we'll start on Wednesday with two events taking place there. At first, the FACK does a workshop where Jasmin gives a little bit of input about how to handling this job application meetings and so on. Okay. And after that, there is going to be a communal cooking event in the kitchen. Together we eat. We have some curry with two of our supporters and cooking with the young people together. And on Friday there is going to be a workshop organized by Paul. Paul is 14 years old, and he does a project on cosplay in the makerspace. How you can do your cosplay stuff with a 3D printer and so on. And then the factory is rented for young people, a private party on a Saturday evening till Sunday, and on Sunday Armon, another 15-year-old guy from our team, does this games and movies event. And so you see different kind of topic, different kind of people, different kind of events, and I think that's very good, because in the end you reach different target groups and you can bring them together. And one very important part of bringing them together will be on the 2nd of February. Because now we have Hassan and his group will do some parties every month, like community parties in the end. And the aim here is to bring all the different people that are FACK or doing stuff with FACK, bring them together. And let's see how this will work out.
And how do you communicate with the people? So what type of channels of communication do you use that you feel that are effective to reach the young people or the community, and also them reaching you? So what works?
So Valentin can actually text something, and that's like a news channel. So we let the young people, there are about 250, 260 people in there, and we just let them know what the events are that are coming up this week, next week, or where they can find us, that there's a new concept for the key license and stuff like that. And also, I think like the main channel is also this space. because young people know they can come here and they know that between 1 and 7 p.m. there is someone here they can approach. And then also sometimes they just ask us, but I'd say that it's also very important to have personal relations to the young people, to approach them like everyone at one time, to talk to the young people one person at a time, and to just invite them to events that you might think would be interesting for them to also feel appreciated that you thought of them.
Yeah, I think in the end, our job is to change the people, and to change the people we need them to do something they didn't have done before, and that for that we need to cross some rivers and some barriers in their heads, and for this we need trust. And we have to firstly build up this trust, build up these relationships, that we can make them do very special stuff they never have thought about doing before.
But there are some challenges, right, in this trust process, in this establishing the connection, and also maybe reaching up to, for example, the families of them, of these young people. So what are the biggest challenges for you to reach and to trust and to establish these connections, and how do you tackle these challenges?
Different obstacles I think about, and Wiebke think about, and it's very interesting from you. Maybe you can tell, and then I can tell what I think are the obstacles.
Yeah, so for me, I am often described as the cold-hearted person of the team. Thus, it's sometimes pretty hard for me to actually build personal relationships with the young people that are, especially in the club, and that are coming there, because I just sometimes struggle to actually find a thing we have in common, and to build a relationship through that. But I think it's important for me to be some kind of person that a female people in our organization can approach, and I think that is working quite well. And also, I think it depends on the project you're working on. Valentin already mentioned the FACK Academy, which is like some kind of like my baby somehow, and I just really am invested in working on it, and also in working with the team. And the team only consists of female persons, so we can work together very well. But maybe sometimes it's also has got something to do with stereotypes that young people bring here, but also maybe stereotypes that are still in me and that I have towards other people. So I think it's a two-sided sword somehow.
I think for me, it's always the difficulty to reach out to a very wide target group, a very diverse team. Like, we have people in our admin team, like 18 people right now. The oldest is 24 and the youngest is 12. We have people who have the best grades in the school and people who dropped out of school. We have people who are studying, people who are learning a job, and people who are at school, and people who don't work. And we have also people with a migrantic background and people without a migrantic background. So it's a very diverse team that works together, and it's generally a big strength, but it's also a little of challenge to address important for the organization topics and difficult topics on a level where everybody can work with. Like, if I do it too complicated, then the younger ones, for example, could say, oh my god, what are you talking about? And if I do it too easy, then maybe the people who are more invested into it and are more into it think, oh god, it's so lame and so on. And that's to find a basic level of together communication. That's difficult on certain topic like impact measurement or organizational strategies and so on. And also we have different motives in this team. Like some of the people are volunteers and say, yeah, that's my free time hobby, and it's okay. And others say, yeah, I want to build up my career here, and that's also okay. But we need to handle all these different motives that they of what they're driving the people in our team in the end. I think that's also a little bit of a challenge. And in the end, maybe at last, my problem also is that I am a functional role here. I am feel like the backbone structure of this organization because I'm employed here, and I have to make sometimes decisions that are that I have to make because I have an eye on the funding situation and so on. And when you're maybe 15 or 14-year-old volunteer in the organization, it's totally natural that you don't have always the eye on funding and applications and so on. And then surely they have a different view on topics. Do we need more employees? Does it work like now? Where I say, yeah, we need more employees. That's very, that are the challenges we have to face all the time.
And how do you make sure that this space is prepared to accommodate diversity and it's inclusive for everyone? How do you prepare for this?
I think that's a very important question, especially inside of the elections this year, because at least from my point of view, I think we do not have the final solution for it at the moment, as we have many young people from many from very different backgrounds, and we want to try to make all of them as comfortable as possible, but we also have to stay within democratic barriers that we have and that we want to have, and but we also don't want to exclude anyone, so it's some kind of struggle, at least I am facing at the moment, because if we are very inclusive and try to include everyone, which is actually not even possible in this house because we're just not accessible for people with physical struggles. And then it's another problem that we just have very different groups attending our events and the club, which is something we realized when we were doing our impact management or when we were starting it. And thus it's pretty important to have different events that are appealing to different people, I'd say. Just as Valentin presented the event that is organized by migrants that came here a few years ago, that will do a party every month from now on here. And then we have other events that appeal to other people. And I think what we're struggling with at the moment is to make everyone comfortable at the same time. If all of our target groups came here at the same time, I'm not sure all of them would feel comfortable. But that's something we can address in the future, and I think we're also working towards it, but I'm also not sure if this building is enough to make everyone comfortable.
I think we have core values at FACK that are mandatory for all the people who are taking responsibility in the organization or for the organization. And in the core of FACK is our genuine belief that everybody has a different background and a different story to tell, and these different backgrounds and stories make the people unique. And in this uniqueness lies power for our society. And our job at FACK is to improve and support people by taking this potential they have in themselves and live it and change the world for the better by living it. That's our core belief, and I think that also means that we need to include people we don't agree with on general political or society topics. And the struggle right now is how much can we include them so that we can still reach them and possibly, hopefully, change them, but not give them the feeling that sometimes their very difficult views and ideas are accepted or are appropriate in this space they are using, and they are profiting from it. And that's the big question. And in the end, like Wiebke said, can we get space where everybody feels connected, where everybody feels as one part of a whole? And I think that's not only a question for FACK, it's a society question. I think maybe, we need to answer this question, But I don't think that the society here in Germany has answered this question as well. So maybe we're on eye level with that, and we can find a solution here in the small space that we can adapt for the wider context.
So it's also about finding this balance. We talked about the barriers, we talked about how inclusive it can be or it should be, and how hard it is to make it, but you surely already see the positive, the benefits, the impact of having this space and including these young people in the decision-making process of how to use the space. So for you, what is the benefits that you can actually see, the impact, the positive impact?
In the last year, 108 events were done by young people. 108 projects were done by young people. We have a situation where a young refugee, he was 16 years old at the time, spoke together at dinner with the head of the German White Foundations Association and convinced her that we are a good project and maybe we can do more and so on. And another example is that we have 2 project managers of a 100,000 euro project last year. And these 2 project managers that handled the project and the events were 17 and 15 years old. We have young people that doing some social hours here in our organization for speaking about some right-wing extremism stuff and using some right-wing extremism symbols. And in the time they spent here, they took part in memorial events about the Shoah here in Altenburg, and planted also some flowers. That was their own idea to do so. And after their time here, they came back the next week and said, "Can I come furthermore? Can I please be a part and engage and be a part of civil society?" And I think we see a lot of topics and situations where people grow. And most times you see when you're very, very much in touch with people and see them all day, you don't see them change. That's like general setting. But I have a totally different feeling here. The more I get to speak with people and the more they are involved in our work, and the more I see them grow. And I see, that was something I said in the meeting in our leadership team yesterday to 2 of our youngest members in this team, that I get a feeling that they are growing into leaders of this whole organization in the age of 14 and 15. And I think that's very cool to see.
I agree. I also wanted to emphasize the focus on personal growth that we are seeing with single people, and that's something I really appreciate, and that helps me see the impact we actually have at the moment. Because for me it's always hard to see the bigger picture and to see single persons grow and outgrow themselves. That's something I think we're really good at, or we've been really good at in the last year.
And I think in the end, that's what changes the world. I think if we make people powerful, and I think looking with an eye on Paul we do, then we create people that can change the world for the better and solve every problem we have. And I think that's the only real solution, how we can solve the world's problem.